The Savage Planet. Commander Exiled of the Galactic Confederation research vessel, Endless Discovery, hovered near the observation window, his translucent body pulsing with nervous energy as he studied the blue-green planet below. Earth. Classification: Deathworld. His 3 hearts fluttered uncomfortably at the thought of what lived down there. Commander, the atmospheric analysis is complete, Science Officer Telenar announced, her crystalline exoskeleton glittering under the ship's lights. It's worse than we predicted. Oxygen levels at 21%, highly corrosive to most species. Gravity at 9.8 meters per second squared, nearly triple the Confederation average. Temperature variations from -50 to +50 degrees Celsius depending on region, and the radiation from their star. Enough, Exiled said, his voice modulator vibrating with tension. The Confederation Council was correct. No wonder we've avoided this sector. How could anything survive here, let alone develop sentience? The main viewing screen activated, showing high-resolution images of human cities, transportation networks, and most disturbingly, humans themselves, bipedal creatures that moved with shocking speed and precision, lifting objects many times their body weight, consuming substances that would kill most Confederation species instantly. They're not just surviving, Telenar said quietly. They're thriving. And yet they have no idea they're not alone in the universe, Exiled mused. That changes today. Dr. Elena Vasquez squinted at her computer screen, rechecking the satellite data for the 4th time. The anomalous readings had started 3 days ago. Strange energy signatures in orbit around Earth that didn't match any known satellite or space debris. Still obsessing over your mystery signals? Dr. Marcus Chen asked, placing a coffee on her desk at the Johnson Space Center. They're not random noise, Elena insisted. The pattern is too regular, too deliberate. Her phone rang. General Adams from United Nations Space Command. Elena's heart skipped a beat. The military never called civilian scientists directly unless something was very wrong. Dr. Vasquez, she answered. We need you in Washington. Now. The general's voice was tense. Similar signals have been detected at multiple observatories worldwide. And 15 minutes ago, something happened. What? Every screen on Earth, televisions, computers, phones, displayed the same message for exactly 10 seconds. We're sending a car for you. 6 hours later, Elena sat in the Pentagon's secure briefing room alongside scientists, military officers, and government officials from around the world. The tension was palpable as General Adams stepped to the podium. At 7:43 UTC, this message appeared simultaneously on approximately 8.4 billion devices worldwide, he said, nodding to an aide who activated a screen. Simple text appeared. We coming in peace. Prepare for CONTACT. Coordinates follow. The coordinates point to the United Nations Plaza in New York. Adams continued. In exactly. He checked his watch. 45 minutes. The room erupted in chaos until a sharp voice cut through the noise. We need to evacuate civilians, said Colonel Maya Rodriguez, her face set in determined lines. And I want a security perimeter. Whatever's coming, we'll be ready. The world watched, breathless, as an iridescent vessel materialized above the UN Plaza, defying all known laws of physics. Global defense systems remained frozen, not because they couldn't target the craft, but because world leaders had agreed to wait. Humanity's first contact would not begin with an act of aggression. A beam of light extended from the vessel, and 3 figures descended, clearly not human. Zalvor led the delegation, flanked by Telenar and Security Director Krasvor, whose tentacled form tensed with every movement of the heavily armed human security forces surrounding the plaza. Elena Vasquez stood among the hastily assembled greeting committee, her scientific curiosity overriding her fear as the aliens approached. The translator devices the Confederation had sent ahead activated automatically. People of Earth, Zalvor's modulated voice echoed across the plaza. We represent the Galactic Confederation, an alliance of 732 spacefaring civilizations. We have observed your world for centuries, maintaining distance as you developed. We would have waited longer, but necessity forces our hand. What necessity? Asked the UN Secretary-General. Xalvor's form pulsed with grave energy. Extinction. Not just yours. All of ours. The briefing lasted hours. The Confederation representatives explained how a predatory species they called the Harvesters had emerged from deep space, consuming entire planets and civilizations. Billions had already died. Confederation weapons, based on energy manipulation and sophisticated technology, proved ineffective against the Harvesters' adaptive biological armor. Why come to us? Colonel Rodriguez asked bluntly. We have no interstellar capabilities. Because you are different, Telenar answered, projecting images showing Confederation species struggling in what appeared to be normal Earth conditions. Your planet is what we classify as a death world, an environment so harsh it would kill most sentient species within hours. This has shaped you into something extraordinary. The room fell silent as the implications became clear. You need warriors, Rodriguez stated. We need humans, Xalvor confirmed. Your physical capabilities far exceed those of any Confederation species. You can withstand forces that would crush us, temperatures that would freeze or boil us, radiation that would destroy our cellular structure. Most importantly, you can fight in ways we cannot. You're saying humans are what? Super soldiers by galactic standards? Elena asked incredulously. Precisely, Telenar replied. And you're our last hope. The Global Defense Initiative formed within days, a joint military force combining Earth's finest soldiers with Confederation technology and training. Colonel Rodriguez took command, with Elena Vasquez heading the scientific division that would adapt alien technology to human physiology. At the Arizona Desert Training Facility, newly appointed Captain Jack Mercer watched his squad struggle with the delicate alien tech. A former Navy SEAL, Mercer had been selected for his adaptability and leadership under extreme conditions. Careful with that, Richards, he called as Private Richards nearly crushed a communication device. Remember, their stuff breaks if you look at it wrong. Sir, Richards replied, his frustration evident. How are we supposed to fight with equipment that can't handle normal human strength? That's why Dr. Vasquez and her team are here, Mercer said, nodding toward where Elena worked alongside Telenar, modifying equipment. Elena approached, carrying what looked like a standard assault rifle, but with obvious alien modifications. Captain, we've reinforced this prototype with Earth alloys while maintaining the Confederation energy projection system. Should withstand human handling now. Mercer took the weapon, testing its weight and balance. It felt right. When do we get to test it? Now, Elena said, pointing to a firing range where Confederation representatives had set up targets. Let's see what happens when human strength meets alien tech. The demonstration was impressive. Energy pulses that could pierce Harvester armor, controlled by the precision and adaptability of human reflexes. But more revealing were the reactions of the Confederation observers, whose biosignatures registered what humans would recognize as shock. They're afraid of us, Mercer realized, watching Krasvor flinch as Richards effortlessly lifted equipment that would require mechanical assistance for Confederation species. Not afraid, Xalvor corrected, approaching Mercer. Awed. You must understand, Captain, what you consider normal daily activity would qualify as superhuman on most Confederation worlds. Your endurance, strength, and resilience to environmental extremes are unprecedented in our experience. Will it be enough against these harvesters? Mercer asked. Xalvor's bioluminescence dimmed slightly. The harvesters have never encountered a species from a death world before. We're about to find out. The first Harvester scouting vessel was detected approaching Saturn 2 weeks later. The Global Defense Initiative deployed its first joint human Confederation strike force aboard the hastily retrofitted Confederation vessel Defiant. In the ship's briefing room, Colonel Rodriguez addressed the assembled soldiers, 100 of Earth's finest, equipped with modified Confederation technology. "This is humanity's first interstellar combat mission," she said, her voice steady despite the enormity of the moment. "Our objective is to prevent the Harvester Scout from sending data back about Earth. If they learn about us, their main fleet will divert here immediately." Captain Mercer studied the tactical display showing the Harvester vessel, a grotesque biomechanical construct that seemed to pulse with malevolent life. "Rules of engagement?" he asked. "Neutralize with extreme prejudice," Rodriguez replied grimly. "These things don't negotiate." As the Defiant approached the outer solar system, Alina Vasquez monitored the hybrid systems from the science station, marveling at how quickly humans had adapted to alien technology. The Confederation crew members worked alongside humans with growing confidence, though they still startled at the casual strength and endurance their human counterparts displayed. "Harvester vessel detected," announced the tactical officer. "They've altered course, heading directly for us." "They're curious," Alina observed. "They've never seen a Confederation ship carrying humans before. Let's make sure they never report what they see," Rodriguez ordered. Battle stations. The encounter that followed would forever change the Confederation's understanding of warfare. As the Harvester launched its attack, biological projectiles designed to penetrate ship hulls and energy fields that disrupted navigation systems, the humans responded with a ferocity and creativity that stunned their Confederation allies. Where Confederation tactical doctrine relied on preset responses and technological solutions, humans improvised, adapting instantly to changing conditions. When standard protocols failed, Mercer led a squad on a direct boarding action, something no Confederation species would consider due to the extreme physical danger. Zalvor watched in astonishment as the humans engaged in hand-to-hand combat with the Harvester drones, grotesque amalgamations of biological and mechanical parts that towered over them. The humans moved with shocking speed and precision, their bodies withstanding impacts that would shatter Confederation physiology. "They're actually enjoying this," Telenar whispered in disbelief as Mercer's squad cleared the Harvester vessel corridor by corridor. When the battle ended, the Harvester Scout had been neutralized at the cost of 12 human lives. A terrible toll, but far less than the thousands of Confederation casualties typically suffered in such engagements. In the aftermath, as medical teams treated the wounded, Zalvor approached Colonel Rodriguez with a new respect evident in his bioluminescent patterns. "You fought as no species in the Confederation could," he said, "but this was only a scout. The Harvester main fleet numbers in the thousands." Rodriguez's expression remained determined. "Then we'd better start training more humans." Forged in fire. 3 months after first contact, the Global Defense Initiative had expanded to include 50,000 human soldiers integrated with Confederation technology and tactics. Training facilities operated on every continent, producing warriors unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. At the orbital station Defender 1, a hastily constructed hybrid of Earth and Confederation technology, Captain Jack Mercer led his newly formed Nova Squad through advanced combat simulations. His team represented Earth's diversity. Lieutenant Aisha Kazemi, former Iranian Special Forces, Sergeant Wei Chen, Chinese Army Engineering Corps, Corporal Davi Santos, Brazilian jungle warfare expert, and Private First Class Sophia Jackson, U.S. Marine Corps demolition specialist. Time. Mercer called as his squad completed the simulation, neutralizing a virtual harvester nest in record time. 6 minutes, 12 seconds, reported the Confederation Observer, Science Director Lurval. 43% faster than your previous record, and nearly 3 times faster than any Confederation tactical team has ever achieved. "Still not good enough," Mercer said, checking his modified combat suit for damage. The hybrid technology now incorporated Earth materials capable of withstanding human strength and movement, while maintaining the advanced properties of Confederation design. Alina Vasquez entered the training deck, accompanied by Exiled. In the months since first contact, she had become the leading expert on integrating human biology with alien technology. The results were remarkable. weapon systems that responded to human neural patterns, armor that enhanced rather than restricted human movement, and communication systems adapted to human sensory capabilities. "Captain, we've just received intelligence from Confederation deep space probes," she announced. "The main Harvester fleet has changed course. They're heading for the Arcturus system. That's where the Confederation's largest refugee population is housed," Lurval added, his crystalline form dimming with concern. "Over 6 billion displaced individuals from worlds already consumed by the Harvesters. How long until they arrive?" Mercer asked. 72 hours, Xalvor replied. "The Confederation Council has requested immediate human intervention. They're activating the Alpha Protocol." The Alpha Protocol. Full deployment of human forces to defend Confederation interests. It would be humanity's first major engagement against the Harvester threat, and the stakes couldn't be higher. The command center of the GDI flagship, Humanity's Hope, bustled with activity as Colonel Rodriguez briefed the assembled strike force commanders. The massive vessel, originally a Confederation cruiser modified to accommodate human physiology, carried 5,000 soldiers and support personnel. The Arcturus system contains 17 habitable worlds and artificial habitats housing refugees from 23 civilizations, Rodriguez explained, indicating the holographic display. "Our mission is to prevent the Harvester fleet from entering the system. We will engage them at these coordinates, where the spatial topology provides tactical advantages." Captain Mercer studied the battle plan with his squad leaders. The strategy incorporated elements no Confederation commander would consider: direct assaults, diversionary tactics, and close-quarters combat that leveraged human physical capabilities. "The Confederation fleet will provide support," Rodriguez continued, "but make no mistake, we are the primary offensive force. The refugees cannot be evacuated in time, so failure is not an option." As the briefing concluded, Alina approached Mercer, concern evident in her expression. "Jack, there's something you should know," she said quietly. "The Confederation Council is monitoring this mission closely. If we succeed, they're prepared to offer humanity full membership in the Confederation, with all the technological and scientific benefits that entails. And if we fail?" Mercer asked. Alina's expression darkened. "The Harvesters will have a clear path to multiple vulnerable systems, including eventually Earth. Billions will die." "Then we won't fail," Mercer said with the quiet confidence that had made him one of Earth's most respected combat leaders. The battle began 18 hours later as the Human Confederation Joint Fleet intercepted the Harvester Armada near the Arcturus system boundary. The scale of the conflict was beyond anything humans had experienced. Hundreds of vessels engaged across thousands of kilometers of space. Aboard the Humanity's Hope, Colonel Rodriguez directed the overall engagement, while Captain Mercer led boarding parties against key Harvester command vessels. The Confederation allies provided fire support and technological countermeasures, but the primary assault fell to the humans. Nova Squad deployed from assault shuttles, using modified thruster packs to navigate the debris field between a crippled Confederation cruiser and the massive Harvester vessel that had disabled it. The scene was chaos: energy weapons fire, biological projectiles, and the silent, terrible efficiency of space combat. "Remember your training," Mercer told his squad as they prepared to breach the Harvester hull. "These things adapt quickly, so don't fall into patterns. Keep moving, keep thinking, and watch each other's backs." The interior of the Harvester vessel was a nightmare landscape of organic technology: pulsing membranes, chitinous corridors that seemed to breathe, and defenses that responded intelligently to intrusion. The squad moved with practiced precision, planting modified explosives at critical junctions identified by Confederation intelligence. "Captain," Lieutenant Kazemi called over the comm, "I'm detecting unusual energy readings ahead, different from anything in the briefing materials." "Proceed with caution," Mercer ordered, signaling the squad to advance in tactical formation. They entered a vast chamber at the heart of the vessel. Suspended in a viscous fluid was a structure unlike anything they'd encountered before: a crystalline matrix pulsing with bioluminescence, surrounded by what appeared to be thousands of neural connections extending throughout the ship. Dr. Vasquez, Mercer called through his comm link to the Humanity's Hope. "We found something. Transmitting visuals now." Alina's voice came back tense with excitement. "That's it, Captain. That's the Harvester Central Node, essentially their brain. Confederation intelligence theorized its existence, but has never confirmed it. This is unprecedented. Can we neutralize it?" Mercer asked, already calculating approach vectors through the defensive systems surrounding the node. "If you destroy that node, it should disable the entire vessel," Alina confirmed. "But the defenses will be formidable." What followed tested the limits of human endurance and ingenuity. As the squad fought their way toward the central node, the Harvester defenses adapted with frightening intelligence, shifting tactics, deploying countermeasures, even altering the internal environment to toxic levels that required the humans to rely on their suit systems. Private Jackson was the first to reach the node, deploying a specialized disruptor device developed by Alina's team. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The entire vessel shuddered as systems failed across its massive structure. "All teams, evacuate immediately," Mercer ordered as structural integrity alarms blared through their comms. "Move." The squad fought their way back to their entry point, even as the vessel began to disintegrate around them. In a desperate final push, they launched themselves back into space just as secondary explosions rippled through the Harvester ship. Across the battlefield, the pattern repeated as human strike teams targeted the previously unknown vulnerability. Harvester vessels began to fail across the engagement zone, their coordinated attack dissolving into chaos. They'd never encountered an enemy that could identify and exploit their central nodes. Zalvor observed from the Humanity's Hope Command Center. "Your people have accomplished in hours what the Confederation couldn't in years of conflict." "Because we think differently," Alina replied. "Deathworld evolution didn't just make us physically resilient. It shaped our problem-solving abilities. We look for vulnerabilities, weaknesses to exploit. We think in terms of predator and prey." As the battle concluded, the remains of the Harvester fleet retreated, breaking off their approach to the Arcturus system. For the first time since the conflict began, the Harvesters had been decisively defeated. 1 week later, Captain Mercer stood alongside Colonel Rodriguez and Dr. Vasquez in the Confederation Council chamber, a vast space designed to accommodate representatives from hundreds of species. The chamber had been modified to account for Earth's gravity and atmospheric requirements in the human section. "The Council has reached its decision," announced the elder speaker, an ancient being whose species had been among the Confederation's founders. "In recognition of humanity's crucial role in defending the Arcturus system and identifying critical Harvester vulnerabilities, Earth is hereby granted full membership in the Galactic Confederation, with all rights and responsibilities thereof." Applause rippled through the chamber, a variety of sounds from different species expressing approval in their own ways. Furthermore, the elder speaker continued, "In acknowledgement of humanity's unique capabilities, the Council proposes the establishment of a new Confederation Defense Force, with human leadership and training methodologies. The Deathworld perspective has proven invaluable in combat situations where conventional Confederation approaches have failed." After the ceremony, as Earth's representatives prepared to return home with news that would forever change human history, Zalvor approached Mercer privately. "There is something we did not share with your leaders initially," the Confederation commander admitted. "Something about why we specifically sought Earth's help." "I'm listening," Mercer said. "The Harvesters aren't random cosmic predators," Zalvor explained. "They're engineered weapons, created millennia ago by a species that disappeared from our records. They were designed specifically to target the neural patterns and biological signatures of Confederation species, and humans are different enough that we disrupt their programming," Mercer concluded. More than that, Zalvor's bioluminescence pulsed with intensity. "Your neural patterns, shaped by millions of years of survival on a death world, are actually toxic to their systems. When they attempt to process human thought patterns, it creates cascading failures in their network. Mercer considered this. So we're not just strong enough to fight them. Our very minds are weapons against them. Precisely, Zalvor confirmed. The Confederation has existed for thousands of years, spreading peace and knowledge throughout the galaxy. But perhaps we became complacent, too removed from the struggle for survival that shaped your species. And now, Mercer asked. Zalvor's form shifted, and what Mercer had learned was the equivalent of a respectful bow. Now we learn from Earth. Your people remind us of something essential that we have forgotten. Sometimes survival requires strength, determination, and the willingness to fight for what matters. As the Earth delegation departed for home, they carried not only new technologies and alliances, but a profound new understanding of humanity's place in the cosmos. They had discovered that what made humans different, their evolution on a harsh, demanding world, had forged them into something unique and valuable. They were Deathworlders, and the galaxy would never be the same.